Tasked to kill actor Salman Khan first. Tight security foiled kill Salman bid. After spate of bomb hoax calls rocked Indian Airlines, Civil Aviation Minister puts threat callers on a no-fly list. Says all bomb threats were fake. Another milestone for ISRO Proba 3 mission successfully launched. European satellites to create solar eclipse experiment. All right, our top story, Devendra Fadnavis has returned as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Well, 15 days after a massive mandate, there was no swearing in or the possibility of a government coming to the fore, but all was settled yesterday, and today Devendra Fadnavis took oath as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra with his two deputies. The Mahayuti Troika are back in business with Devendra Fadnavis as the CM and Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar as his deputies. The oath ceremony boasted an NDA muscle flex as well as a starry affair, but now that's all done and dusted. All eyes are on who will now get the lion's share of portfolios amongst allies.
मी देवेंद्र सरिता गंगाधरराव फडणवीस ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
Devendra Fadnavis takes oath as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra for a third time. In the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP President JP Nadda and Chief Ministers from NDA-ruled states. The mood at the Azad Maidan in Mumbai, where thousands of supporters had gathered, was celebratory and joyous. The guest list for the swearing-in ceremony included top industrialists and film stars, a reflection of the status of Mumbai as both financial capital and tinsel town of India. In addition to the Chief Minister, two deputy CMs were sworn in. Eknath Shinde walked up to take oath after Fadnavis, ending days of suspense that lasted till the last hour. He started by saluting Balasaheb Thackeray, Anand Dige, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah before taking the oath.
बाळासाहेब ठाकरे यांना वंदन, गुरुवर्य धर्मवीर आनंद दिगे साहेबांचं स्मरण आणि देशाचे कर्तबगार आणि लोकप्रिय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदीजी व देशाचे कणखर गृहमंत्री अमित भाई शाह यांचा भक्कम.
Next came Ajit Pawar.
मी अजित आशाताई अनंतराव पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करतो की
No other ministers took oath. Evidently, birth allocation is still a work in progress. Mahayuti 2.0 will be totally different from the first version. The BJP, just a few seats short of majority, and virtually no opposition, is in complete control this time.
शिंदे साहेब मुख्यमंत्री होते, मी उपमुख्यमंत्री होतो आणि अजितदादाही उपमुख्यमंत्री होते. आता पुन्हा मी मुख्यमंत्री आहे आणि शिंदे साहेब उपमुख्यमंत्री आहेत, अजितदादाही उपमुख्यमंत्री आहेत. रोल जरी आमचे बदलले असले, आम्ही आमच्या वचननाम्यामध्ये जाहीरनाम्यामध्ये जी आश्वासनं दिलेली आहेत ती आश्वासनं पूर्ण करण्याच्या दृष्टीनं
Fadnavis, by all accounts, will have a free hand. But what will be his priority? Will there be more of Hindutva? Will there be more of freebies? How will he tackle demand for Maratha quota? How Maharashtra will shape up under an all-powerful BJP CM is a subject of intense debate. Bureau Report, India Today.
And the question we pose on News Today this evening, will it be Mahayuti Sarkar 2.0 or will it be Fadnavis government? Who will have the upper hand here? Well, let's quickly cut across to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Smriti Kopikar, senior journalist. Susi Ben Shah, spokesperson Shiv Sena, will be joining us in just about a minute. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson Congress. Syed Zafar Islam, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party. Before we cut across to our political analyst, Ms. Kopikar, to bring you in, we did see the mega swearing-in ceremony with the Chief Minister and his deputies. What do you feel? Is this going to be a Mahayuti Sarkar 2.0? Pretty much of what we saw it the last time around, or will Devendra Fadnavis come back stronger this time in his second avatar as Chief Minister and third as Deputy CM and CM?
Oh, this is a very different Devendra Fadnavis, and this is a very different Mahayuti from the one that we've seen in the past. He's completely in control here. Not only that, today what we saw were two extremely happy men taking the oath of office, and one rather unhappy man who feels dismissed, minimized, taking oath of office. And as I've been saying, this is going to play out in the next few weeks. And Fadnavis will, of course, the governance challenges are there. And he has already said that we are getting down to work right away. I believe he's already signed 2 files between the end of the ceremony and right now. And he has, of course, used the words, and I quote, direction, speed, and commitment to all the work that they're going to undertake. So there's no doubt in most people's minds that he picks up from his political boss, and speed and scale and direction and all of that is really, going to characterize his decisions.
But Ms. Kopikar, you talk about that one unhappy man sulking who took oath. I would reckon you are pointing towards Eknath Shinde. Now, how much of trouble would that augment in time to come?
Well, the BJP would like us to believe that it's one large happy family today, but it's not, that the Mahayuti alliance is not, all's not well right there. How much of a trouble really depends on how the local elections will go from now on. I don't think the BJP or the Mahayuti or Mr. Fadnavis wants to upset the apple cart too much till the local body elections are done. And this includes, looking after Mr. Shinde and not reviewing the Ladki Bahin Yojana and all of that. But once the local body elections are done and once those results are in, then I think we are going to really see a redrawing of certain political equations.
All right. I have Susi Ben Shah from the Shiv Sena, and she's now smiling, was sulking earlier, wasn't quite happy with what you were saying, but we'll come back to you, Susi Ben. I just want to bring in Syed Zafar Islam into this conversation. Mr. Islam, congratulations. You have a government finally, and a grand swearing in is that. And before you say, I told you so, yes, you did say that you're going to come back very strong and all's going to be well. But is it rainbow and roses, Syed Zafar Islam, as it was projected today? Or do you think this is very different? The circumstances are very different. Yes, you have brute majority, but the pulls and tugs of this alliance would possibly matter in the long run.
When you talk about alliance, you have a different perspective. Ms. Kopikar had a different perspective. We, as the Mahayuti people, we have a very different perspective. We are a family. Each one have been given the responsibilities. We just have to discharge our responsibility efficiently. We have a task to. And who has given us the task? It is not our leadership. It is not our party. It is the people. This is people's mandate. The Honorable Prime Minister has thanked the people of this great country, and particularly I'm talking about the Maharashtra. The Honorable Home Minister, the Honorable Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis ji, have always thanked the people of Maharashtra because they have mandated us. They have given a task. And what is a task? For the work for the welfare of the people, work for the betterment of the people, work for the betterment of the state, ensure that everything is done as per the expectation of the people. This is what the government is. Our governance model is such that we ensure that every single penny is spent diligently, efficiently, and for the benefit of the people in the state.
It's a hallmark card right now, Dr. Islam. All is well, it's one happy family, everything's going to be perfectly fine. No, I hope for you. That's how it pans out. Let me bring in Susi Ben Shah. Susi Ben Shah, it's one big family. Good time to ask the big brother of the cabinet berth that you so desire. I would reckon it's home, and either you get home or there's nothing. What's the dynamic there?
No. Good evening to all, and Preeti, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. And I'll tell you this, I was at the swearing-in ceremony, and I'm telling you this, I'm so humbled. When the CM, when the two deputy CMs, especially our Eknath Shinde, took the oath of office, there was a thunderous applause, the deafening applause. That means the kind of love we have from Maharashtra. There were more than 60,000 people in attendance. There were 30,000 Ladki Bahin in attendance. Now, that is the speed, that is the development, that is the performance of the Mahayuti government. Now, Mahayuti government this time, let me tell you this, the chairs might have changed, the position might have changed, but our Pramukh Neta Eknath Shinde's popularity, his stature, and the way he works has not changed. His popularity also amongst Maharashtra is unprecedented. He's
But okay,
the most
all right. But Susi Ben Shah, tell me one thing before I get in Shama Mohammed. Tell me one thing. No, you can complete, but also tell me one thing. Because you said nothing has changed, it's just the designation, Chief Minister becomes deputy, and it's actually happened multiple times in Maharashtra, strangely. And we'll get Ms. Kopikar to talk about that, because he's not the first, I reckon he's the fifth. But the question that I ask you, Susi Ben Shah, the question that I ask you, till yesterday, your closest, sir, I'll come to you, 1 minute. Allow me to ask a rebuttal to Ms. Shah. Yesterday, the closest confidants of Eknath Shinde were very clear. He needs to get something respectable. Ms. Shah, what would be something respectable? Does the buck stop at Deputy CM and you're happy with maybe PWD?
Which is even today something respectable with a lot of dignity. As he said again today in the press conference, nothing changes from deputy. He was the CM earlier, common man. Now he's deputy CM, dedicated common man. So that's the approach. But yes, as far as dignity is concerned, with respect is concerned, we are sure that the people in Delhi, our leaders in Delhi, PM Sir, Amit Shah ji, and Devendra Fadnavis ji would definitely reciprocate.
So there's Dr. Islam, there's a caveat to the happy family there, but I want to just bring in, Dr. Shama Mohammed into this conversation.
No, Preeti, you must give some credence to the magnanimity shown by our Eknath Shinde. I keep seeing CM. Not 2.5 years into practice.
Ma'am, right now, Dr. Islam just set the ground on how you're this one big happy family. Everybody is a member equally. So credit will then should go to everyone. Okay, let me bring in Dr. Shama Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed, the fact is, the fact is, there is a swearing in. It might have happened 15 days late, but it's happened in your government many times. Look at Karnataka, Haryana. So one can't really question why it took so long for the government to come together. To look inwards right now, Shama Mohammed, the sheer fact that today the Congress is in a position after Lok Sabha elections where you cannot even claim the position of leader of opposition where the Maharashtra bench is concerned.
For Shama, you see,
no, that's for Dr. Mohammed.
Shama Mohammed. A couple of things. One.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I happen to be Shama Mohammed. Can I speak?
Yes, ma'am, it's for you.
So, yes, I heard a couple of things. One, I heard that we are one big happy family. What I saw as soon as the swearing in was announced, we saw Mr. Shinde first going to his hometown. He was hospitalized. He was unwell. Then we hear that he's asked for at least 6 months to be the CM. I mean, so much of desperation, and they say we are one big happy family. Then I hear that they have done, the people have voted. I agree, there's a mandate from the people of Maharashtra, and I agree to that. But we all know that before that, it was a very tight election, and suddenly the mandate goes there. Fine, but let's understand what was there. They have mentioned what all work we have done. Now, I have statistics. The highest in our country for youth suicides is Maharashtra. The highest in farmer suicides is Maharashtra. The second highest in crimes against women is Maharashtra, and this has happened in the last 3 years. Per capita income, it used to be number 1, and the most industrialized state, it is number 6. So and youth, unemployment, 62 lakh youth are unemployed. And you have 2.5 lakh vacancies in the government. I want to know now from two of them sitting here that are you going to fill up these vacancies? Why are these government jobs lying there and there is huge unemployment? And we also know that Apple has come to India. 25% of Apple is being produced in India, but Maharashtra does not have a single center to produce Apple. Semiconductor industries are there in India. 4 of them are in Gujarat. There are 5 in India, but none in Maharashtra.
But allow me a rebuttal now. Dr. Sharma
Ladli Behna, this Ladki
fair
Behna.
point. You're making all credible points.
Can I finish? Can I just finish?
Go ahead, make your point, ma'am.
I lost her. Last point is Ladki Behna. They said it's 1,500. They're going to increase it to 2,500. What I've understood, as soon as they got close to swearing in, they said, we cannot do it. So this is how the same government, when they came to power in 2014,
now allow me a rebuttal.
They were in their manifesto.
All right, but Dr. Mohammed, all credible points that you're making. But having said that, Dr. Mohammed, you need a credible, strong opposition to take on the government on all of these benchmarks and reference points that you are speaking of. You are today in a position, which I will ask the same question again, that after Lok Sabha, you stand at 16. You are not even close to the figure of 29 to claim the leader of opposition tag. There has to be some amount of self-reflection.
So of course there is self-reflection, but also we've gone to the Election Commission with various discrepancies. What has happened? The voter count, vote polls is not equal to the votes count. How there is an 8% increase after 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Normally it's around 1 to 2%. But we haven't got, wait, let me finish. We haven't got the answers from the Election Commission. See, let me tell you one thing. I am always with the people. We have to respect the people's mandate. But both Haryana, everybody, including journalists like you, said we are winning it. Survey said we are winning it. Maharashtra, we were told it's a very close election. Now look at that. When close election means
but
not
ultimately, Shama Mohammed,
or 132 out of 150. So
whether whoever predicted what, whoever said what, ultimately the reading on the wall is the massive mandate, both in Haryana and Maharashtra. And I would reckon one needs to accept it and honor, because the people have spoken. Allow me to bring in Ms. Kopikar back into the conversation, and I'll go to our political guests again.
I agree that to you.
All right. Okay, great. So let's leave it at that, where questioning the mandate is concerned. But Ms. Kopikar, this is now also a time where the BJP is coming in as big brother. Do you see this as a BJP governed state, or will you see the pulls and tugs of the alliance? Because one of the alliance also holds up the Bharatiya Janata Party at the center with 7 MPs, and that's the sulking man that you're speaking of.
Make no mistake, this is a BJP Sarkar. This is a Fadnavis Sarkar. Make no mistake about it. The pulls and pressures, to the extent that Mr. Shinde can wrangle with this government, get what he wants, show his prowess, he's going to try every trick in the book to do that. But he's also up against extremely shrewd political men who've done this for the last 35 years at levels far deeper than his. He's against Mr. Fadnavis and Mr. Ajit Pawar together. So how much will he be able to wrangle from the BJP and Fadnavis remains to be seen. But, having said that, there is this sense that the Maharashtra Sarkar now is kind of different from the other BJP Sarkars or the governments. But that's really not true. You may be seeing an extremely suave, sophisticated, westernized, Western-clothed, attired man at the helm of affairs. But make no mistake about it, he is committed to the RSS ideology. He is there to fulfill a certain agenda. And if you see Mr. Fadnavis's first government from 2014 to 2019, there will be a number of decisions, including, for example, the ban on beef and transportation of cattle. And towards the end of that Sarkar, the building of the steps that he was taking to operationalize the CAA, and there were camps being built outside of
that
Mumbai.
augurs quite a bit, Dr. Islam, because it started off during the campaign and it worked. You could see that in terms of the mandate, Ek hai, safe hai, how the Hindu vote consolidated. So the question that I ask you, Dr. Islam, is, are we now going to look where Maharashtra is concerned, where Hindutva will be the overriding ideology?
Haven't heard you heard the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Fadnavis, what did he say yesterday? I think Ms. Kopikar is a journalist. I'm sure that she must have heard. I'm sure that the ignorance can be accepted when it comes to a political spokesperson who tries to ignore the sentiments expressed by a leader who has already been, who was to be sworn as Chief Minister and he is sworn as Chief Minister today. That he said very clearly, in every section of the society he has mentioned, without exception, including minorities, every section of the society. And he said, I am responsible for everyone's development. I am the Chief Minister of everyone. It is my responsibility to ensure that everyone feels safe, secure. Saath hai, ek hai aur saath hai. So when you see this kind of a misleading information and conflicting views, that creates a lot of confusion in people's mind. And I'm sure that everyone who understands the conduct of
I'll tell you, Dr. Islam, it's easy to override what journalists pick up on ground, but I'll tell you where it's all coming from. It comes up from the build-up that we saw the campaign in the state of Maharashtra. Ms. Kopikar wants to come in for a rebuttal and I'll come back to you. One second, allow her to come in. 10 seconds, Ms. Kopikar, please make your point.
I think the point I made was not born out of ignorance, but of having watched the Fadnavis one Sarkar from very close quarters. I happen to live in Mumbai and I've seen, as Susie Ben does, and we've seen this Sarkar from very, very close quarters. So it doesn't come out of ignorance. Also, there is, don't forget that during this extremely tight campaign, Mr. Fadnavis was the one who started the term vote jihad. So make no mistake what kind of a color or hue this Sarkar
Dr.
is
Islam, that's where the apprehensions are stemming from. Journalists are not making up things in thin air and presenting it to you. They're picking up what indications seem to suggest. Go ahead, sir, make your point. Yes.
Let me make it very clear,
of course.
candid statement. See, what does word jihad primarily mean? And I'm being a Muslim, and Shama is also Dr. Shama is also a Muslim. See, what we want, and I always very vocal, and Ms. Kopikar, perhaps you don't know, I also come from Mumbai. I lived all my life in Mumbai, and I was I was leading the media in charge. I was the media in charge for Maharashtra election. So having said that, let me tell you a few things which is very important for all of us to understand, that when when a community wants to vote only to defeat a political party, that is something which perhaps he meant. Because we want everyone's participation. That's your agenda. The community's agenda should not be to defeat. Community agenda should be to achieve through political process by voting to a political party, whoever you feel appropriate, to who has respect and done things for you. But never, Congress party and Samajwadi party, types of those parties have never delivered anything for the community. Yet the entire community have given.
So you're going to say that it's going to be Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and all of that was
absolutely.
Okay,
let me
fine.
tell you, absolutely.
Okay, let me get in. Dr. Mohammed, I'll come to you. Let me bring in Susie Ben Shah.
Last sentence. See, I heard Shama Muhammad ji. We are friends. We understand each other. But on a very auspicious day like this, when the entire population of Maharashtra is standing and giving standing ovation to this government, you are speaking something which is very derogatory only nasty things about government and about the party.
I really-
At least for one day.
I really want to
One
know
day,
what is it
one
that you
day,
both
stay-
understand each
speaking the
other on,
truth.
but that's
I was speaking the
stay away
facts.
from all
Okay,
this
I'll come.
negative
Okay,
thought
there's no
process.
point getting into
People
this,
do not
sir.
vote you
All right,
because
there's
of
no
this
point. There's no
sentiment,
point.
because of the emotion.
Okay, let's not get into this. Okay, let me get in Susie Bensha and break this right now. But Susie Bensha, the
Right,
fact is, taking off from what Ms. Kopikar said and the defense made by your own ally, you're going to go into a BMC election and possibly it might work for you because there's a huge migrant population where of what Mumbai consists of right now. And consolidation of that vote might work for you. But this will be a counter because one of your allies, even in this election, Ajit Pawar, clearly you were not on the same page with him, and it was very obvious on certain levels, is quite averse to it because he made every time the issue of vote jihad turned up, every time, ek hai, safe hai, batenge to katenge came up, he made very clear that he wasn't part of this narrative. He was going to have nothing of it. Even the likes of Ashok Chavan in Nanded.
Now, let me tell you this. While we are Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, that is our clarion call, but let it be understood that this is a saffron sarkar. We do believe in Hindutva, we do believe in Hinduism, that is our ideology, and that is the reason the people of Maharashtra understood what is ek hai to safe hai or ek hai to nek hai. That is one part. Secondly, today it is a black day in the democratic norms of Maharashtra. Today is the first time that not a single opposition leader was present for the oath-taking ceremony of Devendra Fadnavis ji and the two deputy CM, one of them being our Pramukh Neta. Devendra Fadnavis ji had remained present in 2019 when the Thakres took oath as the chief minister. I mean, what are we talking about? They are sore losers. They don't want to work for the progress of Maharashtra except scoring brownie points, petty issues and scoring brownie points. They have nothing else to do. The people of Maharashtra is seen through this. My friend Shama told whatever employment, whatever XYZ. This was the same narrative which was spread during the election and campaign.
No. Susie Bensha, it's not a narrative. This is what most economists right now are saying. Look at the debt that your state is under.
No, I'm not running away from it. I'm not saying there is no issue. But we work together. If there is a problem, this Mahayuti Sarkar will work together toward ensuring that the unemployment, wherever it is existing, it will be removed. This is the government which really gave social welfare to the women, to the farmers, to the OBCs, to the Vanchit, to the Magaswargiya. So therefore, this is a government who believes in social welfare. And if there is a problem on unemployment, we'll come up with a policy of apprenticeship.
Be it economic distress, farm distress, fair points, credible points made. Okay, Dr. Mohammed. Okay, I want to bring in Dr. Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed, the fact is, you can continue to say that this was there all along. The agenda was Hindutva. You might say it. But look at your own alliance. It's fraying at the edges already because if Hindutva is going to be the core ideology, already there are murmurs that the likes of Uddhav Thackeray going into the election in the elections which are coming up, the BMC elections, might go it alone. Because the ideology just doesn't come in together and cohesive where your party is concerned. It's inorganic.
But it's the same way with Ajit Pawar. I said when it came to issues of batenge to katenge. So they also have issues with Mr. Pawar regarding the ideology. Now, I just want to correct Zafar Islam, Dr. Zafar Islam. He said derogatory. I didn't use anything derogatory. I just told the facts. I have the facts with me. I have the numbers with me. I never spoke anything derogatory. I said, what is the facts? The other thing he mentioned about Muslims, he said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Two things. Did you know what happened in Mira Road this year, Zafar Islam? How did that happen? Why is that only one section when there has been a communal issue there, but it's the minorities' houses and shops which were bulldozed? You take action on both. If both of them are involved, arrest both, put them behind bars, take action on both. Why is that always one community's action is taken against one community? Number two, very importantly, I want to ask you, Zafar, you're a Muslim. Why are there no Muslim members of parliament in the Bharatiya Janata Party? And you hardly have an MLA in the Bharatiya Janata Party. If it is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, then they should also start giving tickets to Muslims.
But that's unfair to ask Dr. Islam. He's not the one
saying. that sabka. And
No,
also,
no.
what I'm saying is he was supporting and saying that Modi ji is with Muslims, it's sabka saath, sabka vikas. Have you seen the ad in Jharkhand, which the Bharatiya Janata Party put in? Have some sort of apologize for that ad. What
but you can't.
Ad is that?
All right, okay. Dr. Islam wants to come in, but you really can't hold Dr. Islam responsible for that. But Dr. Islam, make your point. Then I want to quickly shift focus to the next.
He's the one who's saying.
Okay, ma'am, allow him.
Go
ahead.
He is supposed to answer for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
There are too many doctors on this panel. Dr. Shama Mohammed, allow Dr. Islam to speak. Go ahead.
I distinctly remember both of us have joined politics almost at the same time, Shama Mohammed and I. She is working for Congress last 10 years, 12 years, and yet to become something. And I must thank or whatever time, I must thank my leadership that they made me the member of parliament when I joined around the same time when she joined. See, it is the utility. There are hundreds and thousands of people working for Congress, Muslim community. They vote day in, day out to Congress party.
Okay.
What did they give?
All right. Okay, Dr. Islam.
And I must tell you, so my party always want that everybody should join party, work for the betterment of the country, work for the development of the country.
But Dr. Islam, I've hung on to one word that you used right now, which is utility.
But then why katenge?
Okay, ma'am, it's okay, ma'am. Let's move on. I want to bring in Ms. Kopika back into this conversation. I want to take what Dr. Islam said, where he spoke of utility, and Ms. Kopika, it is actually utility. And when you look at it, where Eknath Shinde is concerned, you made him chief minister because he got you back to power. Where Maharashtra was concerned, it was utility. Now he's deputy CM, but there's a larger writing on the wall, because we're going ahead, the entire, what would be said in Hindi terms, the astitva of the Shiv Sena is in question, because the BJP could very well appropriate it in the longer run.
This is not a bug. It is the feature. It is the agenda. It is the intended effect. Isn't this exactly what the BJP has done, or maybe in an earlier era the Congress would want to have done also, is to go into a state and chew up the smaller regional party? And the BJP has made no bones about it at all. They've been talking about opposition Mukt Bharat for the longest time. This time they have an opposition Mukt Maharashtra. They've ensured that. Of course, it is for Mr. Uddhav Thackeray to figure out where he wants to go from here, how relevant he remains, what happens to his father's legacy, however checkered and, controversial that legacy. He does carry that legacy. What he's going to do with it, only he knows. But has Uddhav Thackeray been marginalized? Yes, of course. That took 10 years. The BJP tried doing that in 2014. Has the Shiv Sena been marginalized? Well, it all depends on how Mr. Shinde stands up to the BJP leadership. But sooner or later, I think he is on a one-way ticket on that road. Has the NCP been marginalized? Clearly, they've been broken up, and there is no doubt where the larger, the more powerful segment of the NCP is. It is, it's more than willing to shake hands and share power with the BJP, has been for 10 years, this time clearly out in the open. So my question here really is, when I look at it, from the outside, is if all the parties are more or less aligned, except for one or two differences, say, of ideology between the Congress and the BJP, the rest are all sort of, on many matters, they all appear the same.
I want to take off from...
Who is the opposition? Who speaks for the non-majority?
Fair point.
Inside the assembly or outside the assembly, what is the opposition in Maharashtra?
Okay, I want to take this question and I want to pose it to Dr. Islam, because Dr. Islam, the thing with happy families sometimes is once the Christmas decoration comes off, there is, the reality comes to the surface. And I'll give you an example. With what happened today or what's been happening in the last couple of days, you have an ally who's part of your happy family, who's sitting as the Bihar Chief Minister, who has an election in exactly a year or a little less than a year, is going to be watching this and is going to go, that's my fate.
I think you are overly showing over concern for such things. Everybody can have aspiration, but when you are an alliance partner, you have to work within the framework. And everyone's framework is defined, whether it's Bharatiya Janata Party or for the alliance partner. We work within the framework and there is absolutely no disconnect. Everyone understands the rule of the game without exception.
But Dr. Islam, then should Nitish Kumar make his peace of being deputy now, if you win Bihar?
Just a second. When Shinde ji was the chief minister and Fadnavis ji was made the deputy chief minister, did you see any reaction from Fadnavis ji? He was always there, whatever, because everyone has understood, or even alliance partner, that within BJP, one thing is very clear, that position is a responsibility. It is linked with the responsibility. You can be given few other responsibility, so your position will change. Position is not permanent. The responsibility will keep changing. That is something which have been told by to us by time and again by our leadership.
All right.
So anybody can assume, be given the responsibility.
Okay, Susi, I want to
and accordingly, the position he will assume.
Susi Bensha, you've proven this election in Vidhan Sabha has proven who is the real Shiv Sena. The question in the long run, Susi Ben, is can you hold on to this Shiv Sena?
Of course, beyond a shadow of doubt. The Dhanushyaman and Lotus are the longest standing NDA partners. We have a Fevicol ka jod, aur na kabhi chhutega, na kabhi tutega. That's one. But I would like to call out the bluff of Shama Mohammed about minorities. Not a single ticket was given by the Mahavinash Aghadi to the minorities, to the Muslims. Number one. Number two, this time around in the assembly elections, the Muslim didn't vote.
I'll come back to you, ma'am. Allow her to say. Allow her to finish.
Not a single Muslim was given by the Mahavinash Aghadi in the Lok Sabha elections. And that is true. And another thing, we have the largest, we are going to be the fintech capital, number one. Number two, 52%. The highest amount of FDI has come to this state. Number three, even today, it was when you left the Maha Aghadi that it was at the 6th number. Today, we are number one at the GSDP. Our borrowing is well within the debt equity ratio. It is 16%. All our welfare schemes are in the budget.
Let me bring in Dr. Mohammed with what the question that you posed. Dr. Mohammed, it's not a lie. Dr. Mohammed, it's not a lie. It's a fact where Lok Sabha, she's not talking about Vidhan Sabha. Lok Sabha elections, the Maha Vikas Aghadi did not give a Muslim a ticket. That's a fact. But, that is a fact.
But
yes.
Let me
make your point.
No, assembly elections we have given. See, it's not that. It's sometimes you might have a candidate. See, you see, Lok Sabha is limited number of seats. So sometimes, assembly elections we have given enough. I didn't interrupt you, Ms. Shah. Please don't open your mouth when I'm talking. In the assembly, we have given. You are talking from a party, an alliance partner who gives no Muslims any ticket all over India.
All right, that's not
Don't you have shame to say
I need to close the show, but I'll give Shama. Dr. Mohammed, I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
You're sitting with Bharatiya Janata
Dr. Mohammed, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to outline where the Congress stands.
The Muslims are abused.
Okay, 1 second. Dr. Mohammed, can you hear me? Dr. Mohammed, can you hear me? Can I just get Dr. Mohammed? Dr. Mohammed, if you can hear me, please hear the question. I'm the moderator. I will be forced to make a hard cut.
One second. No. Why are the Muslims blamed for what the Mughals did?
Okay, ma'am, it's not about the Muslims. This debate has moved on. Allow me.
Mughals.
Dr. Mohammed, please allow me. I want to ask you, I need to file out of this debate. I'll ask you a quick question. Will the Maha Vikas Aghadi stay put in days to come? Because what we are seeing in the aftermath of the mandate is it's fraying at the edges.
No, we are together. If it was fraying at the edges, there would have been a different story. Mahavikas Agadi is
Give me
staying
10
together.
seconds. Give 10.
We
Sir,
are
allow
seeing
her to
cracks
talk.
in Mahayukti Agadi. You never know what's going to happen
Okay, so
there.
you're going to stay for 10
You
seconds to
never know
Dr.
what is
Islam.
going
I
to
need to close
happen
the show.
there. You know, so we didn't have somebody who's
I-
hospitalized.
only
You
10
know, we
seconds.
didn't have anybody. We are together, and I
Okay, you're together. You're saying you're together. There's no impact. 10 seconds, Dr. Islam.
I think, let me tell you, within 30 days, Shima Muhammad will be fighting with Obata, Shiv Sena Obata leaders
Okay,
because
we'll
they
circle
will
back then. I
have a different,
appreciate.
they will part
We'll
ways.
circle back
They
then.
will
I
part
appreciate all our
ways.
panelists for
They
joining
will
us.
part
Thank
ways.
you. Maharashtra has a new government. You have a new chief minister. Devendra Fadnavis is back. He said he'd be back, and he's back. Let's now quickly cut across on something that really should be worrying us a lot more than just plain politics, and that is the possibility of climate change. Viewers, I'm sitting in the national capital, Delhi, and strangely, it should be winters by now, and we're feeling a bit of spring. Chrysanthemums are blooming. You have, the air, of course, is very good, but the temperature is just not plummeting, and that could be grim news where it comes down to climate change. The delayed arrival of winters is making headlines this year. October was recorded as the warmest in over 70 years, and November saw the highest temperatures in 13 years. Now the Met Department is predicting that December will be way warmer than usual. Like I pointed out, it's strange what's going on in Delhi. Flowers are blooming. Practically, plants should be going off to sleep. We are seeing butterflies. That never quite happens at this time of the year. The after effects of this delayed winter is becoming increasingly evident. Like I pointed out, I gave you some examples. Mosquitoes are breeding. Dengue continues to persist because everyone in this belt always says that once October rolls in, diseases like dengue will continue to persist, but that's not happening. Migratory birds that would be arriving at this point of time, very few of them. All of this due to unusual warmth. This late winter is raising serious concerns amongst experts. The life cycle of various species is being disrupted. There is also concern over the persistence of disease that are typically associated with other seasons, like we pointed out. Right, let's quickly cut across right now to our guest. We have Warren Rose. He is a climate specialist. Mr. Rose, appreciate you joining us. We are seeing right now in December massive weather disruptions in terms of what we've never seen a December like this. How do you look at it? Are these disruptions normal? Is it just a one-off, or are we looking at something bigger?
Both. It's both a one-off and it's something bigger. The fact that it's a one-off has to do with what we call a southern oscillation or El Nino effect, and that was a 2024 effect, and it happens every 2 to 7 years. And what that does is that changes the winds, and those winds thereby change the ocean by moving water in a different direction, and the water is warmer in your area, and that creates more heat. So you've got an El Nino effect, and that's what happened in 2024. Unfortunately, in 2022, as I'm sure you're well aware, there was enormous droughts and heat waves in India at that time, and there was no El Nino effect. In fact, the reverse was the effect in El Nino, and that should have given you cooler temperatures, but you had warmer temperatures. What that tells us unequivocally is this is global warming. This is what happens by all the carbon going into the atmosphere. So it is both a short-term and a long-term effect.
Tell us about the long-term effect, Mr. Rose, at least where India is concerned. What are we looking at next year? We've had, at least till now, mild winters. Are we looking at very harsh summers then? Because we had a really bad one this year.
Yes. You're probably, this is a very difficult science to anticipate, and there's been some very good studies by the ICC, the UN Climate Change, ICPP, but we're probably Delhi, of the three major cities in India, probably Delhi will be the one most affected. Mumbai seems less of the three, and Calcutta somewhere in between. So what's unfortunate is, 60% of the population of India lives in city areas, urban areas. And so they're going to be affected by the heat because, as everyone knows, when you're out into the countryside, the heat is not as unbearable. And that's because buildings, roads, all the things we construct to create cities absorb heat and make cities hotter. What's unfortunate about that, however, is that the farmers that live in the country area are going to see droughts, and they're going to see their crops ruined and destroyed more frequently.
Mr. Rose, you're painting a rather apocalyptic picture, but now could such anomalies that you speak of with weather patterns, not just in India, across the world, because you've studied weather patterns across the world, are we looking at early signs of a shift in the overall climate zones of regions?
So that's a great question. If you were to draw a line on the effects, and remember, we're calling it climate change now, not global warming, because some areas of India are predicted to be cooler for a variety of complex reasons, and so some areas will change in different ways, some areas in significant ways. You're going to see. You're going to see patterns that are unpredictable as well. So I think in the near future, you're going to see more 40 degrees Celsius heat days throughout India, and that's unfortunate. But what really scares me about India is the humidity. Having been there, it's humid. And so there's something called, I'm sure most folks in India are aware of the term, the wet bulb effect. And that is the ability to perspire and allow heat to dissipate from our bodies. Well, and so when the water evaporates from our bodies, it takes with it the heat. In fact, the very science of a water molecule leaving our body needs heat for it to happen, and it pulls that heat from our body. That's why perspiring cools us off. We can't perspire when it's near 100% humidity. And if you look at, in fact, the number that you want to look at, if it was 100% humidity or very close to it, 35 degrees Celsius is pretty much the maximum that you'd be able to survive in.
Wow. All right. Mr. Rose, now I'll hark back to my first question, because with what I said, we're experiencing warmer winters than usual, butterflies at this time of the year, mosquitoes, chrysanthemums in bloom, which never quite happens. Will it get colder? Because, sometimes we've seen in the past that winter's setting in later than what we expected. What we usually see in December, we now see in January. What we usually see in January, we now possibly see in February. We see, the change of season setting in later. Is that what we are going to witness this time? Or do you think this is as good as it gets?
Oh no, this is the best you're ever going to have in your lifetime. This winter was the nicest you're ever going to have, and it's going to continue that way. Every year will be hotter than its predecessor. It will continue to grow hotter. Now, there may be an anomaly one year here and there, but for the most part, if you took a decade from 2020 to 2030, that will be significantly hotter than 2010 to 20. And the decade of 20 to 30, 30 to 40, each decade will get hotter. You will never again see the kind of weather that older people in India grew up with. That's gone. We live in a different planet now. It's as if we've all traveled to Mars or Venus, and we now have to survive.
Right, we now have to survive. Well, some of us in Delhi will have to enjoy this winter because Mr. Rose says it's only going to get hotter successively year by year. Two final questions, Mr. Rose. I know you're down with the flu. You need to go back and rest a bit. But a lot of biologists, a lot of doctors who are studying these weather patterns seem to suggest that these weather conditions are going to give rise to infections, diseases that we haven't quite seen. Is it being alarmist? What do you make of it?
Well, it is for a variety of reasons. One is, we're more, when we're not well, we're more accustomed, or we're more susceptible to infections. But if you look at how we get infections like malaria, for example, and dengue and certain infections, so it's not only the humans that are going to be affected, it's the fauna and the flora that are also going to be affected. And so areas that never saw certain diseases and certain infections are going to see them now for the first time. So yeah, you will see more of those kinds of diseases that heat brings. Absolutely. I don't mean to create this scenario that it is completely catastrophic, but it will be catastrophic for the people whose lives are impended. I am sure that there are plenty of people in India that have moved to the cities that were on farms, lived on farms for generations, long before they can even remember, and the farms provided them the fruits and vegetables that they needed, sustenance, and those farms no longer can do that because either they're underwater or in their drought conditions. And that's not just in India, of course, that's in Pakistan and throughout the region. So while it might be fine for someone like me who lives in Washington, D.C. and has air conditioning and enjoys all the benefits of modernity, people who don't have the money to protect themselves, for those people, it will be catastrophic.
Well, that's very, very grim. Mr. Rose, one would say it's a rhetorical question, but what's the way out then? What are we looking at?
Well, it's a great question, and I'm glad you asked me. First of all, your representative, your delegate to the UN Azerbaijan conference did a great job of rejecting the $300 billion offer, and she was looking for $1.3 trillion, which is really what's necessary. We need an enormous amount of money to protect lives. But the easy solution, and there is a way out, and we could get started today, and that is if the world was more energy efficient. And we're not. And we're not because there's a lot of money in producing oil and natural gas, as well as any energy source, right? The wealthiest people in the world are making energy. So, but there's not a lot of money in reducing the load of energy, but we could. And if we used everything that was currently available in technology to reduce our energy load, in other words, to use less electricity, we could cut our emissions by 50%. But look at how much it would cost. Everybody that has an air conditioner in their window would have to replace it with an efficient one. So that's a big cost, and it's something that the world should do immediately. We should start down that road today.
All right, Mr. Rose, appreciate you joining us, taking out the time, rest it out, get better soon. Thank you there for joining us. And where we're concerned in Delhi, well, you might want to, stop and smell the roses, but they're not supposed to be blooming at this point of time, but they are, and that should be alarm bells ringing for us. Go out, enjoy the winter as much as you can, or what's left of it. A quick break. We're back with more on the other side.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
ज़माने से हटकर बेबाक है मेरा Signature finest cardamom seeds, a premium product from Dilbar Group.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Devendra Fadnavis sworn in as Maharashtra Chief Minister for third term, Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar appointed Deputy CM. ISRO achieves another milestone, successfully launches Proba 3 mission from Sri Harikota. Narayan Singh Chaura, attacker of Sukhbir Badal, sent on 3-day police remand.
Welcome back. A property sale in Moradabad's TDI city has sparked protests amongst residents after a house was sold to a person from another community, violating an informal agreement within the colony. Local residents are now demanding action.
In an upscale residential complex of Moradabad, a dispute has erupted over a property sale that has divided residents. Dr. Ashok Bajaj, a well-known resident of the colony, sold his house to a Muslim couple, Dr. Yusuf Malik and Dr. Ikra Chaudhary. The sale has caused an uproar among the colony's predominantly Hindu residents, who claim that when the colony was first established, an agreement was made to only allow people from their own community.
उन्होंने किसी भी प्रकार की सूचना दिए बिना अन्य संप्रदाय के लोगों को ये मकान बेच दिया है। आज ये एक के साथ हुआ है, आगे सभी के साथ होगा, तो ये चीज है कि सभी के आपस में सबकी जानकारी में ये बात होनी चाहिए।
Residents say Dr. Bajaj had an offer from a neighbor. They have urged the authorities to cancel the registration of the property.
पूरी कॉलोनी वासियों भयका और असुरक्षा का माहौल है। मंदिर के सामने इनका मकान है लगभग, और हमारी मांग ये है शासन प्रशासन से मुरादाबाद के कि इस मकान को जो है ये जो जिसने भी लिया दूसरे समुदाय के व्यक्ति ने उसे हमारे ही समुदाय के व्यक्ति को वापस दिलवाया जाए और किसी भी ऐसी कोई ऐसी बात ना की जाए जिससे आपस में वैमनस्य पैदा हो, हिंदू मुस्लिम भाईचारे को चोट पहुंचे।
टीडीआई सिटी से कुछ लोगों ने इस बात की शिकायत की कि एक व्यक्ति विशेष ने किसी एक दूसरे धर्म के एक व्यक्ति को उन्होंने अपना मकान बेचा है। इसको लेके वहाँ पे कतिपय व्यक्तियों को इससे आपत्ति थी। इसमें जैसे ये प्रकरण प्रशासन और पुलिस के संज्ञान में आया, सभी पक्षों से इसमें लगातार वार्ता चल रही है।
As tensions rise, local authorities are working to ensure that the situation does not escalate further. Bureau Report, India Today.
Right, viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Today. We're going to see you tomorrow evening, but we do leave you with these visuals from the big oath-taking ceremony in Maharashtra. Of course, heavyweight politicians, but also the biggest in Bollywood in attendance. We leave you with these visuals. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
दूर तक अब है फैली अपनी ही छाया।
What artificial intelligence can do for you. Learn how you can harness its infinite possibilities. Identify the opportunities